Makiatto has just been released, and in today's video, let us take a deep dive into Makiatto as a character and let us see from a free-to-play perspective if she is a valuable character to pull for. Now Makiatto is a single target damage dealer that uses a sniper rifle, and this gives her a very wide range, allowing her to reach her enemy easily that is hiding behind the enemy front lines. Let us first take a look at her skills. Now her second skill, Cold Precision Shot. It selects one enemy target within 9 tiles and deals freeze damage equal to 160% of her attack. Furthermore, this increases the critical damage of the attack by 30%, which is a lot considering that she has a very high base crit rate. This skill also gives her 1 stack of Cold Conviction. What Cold Conviction does is that it increases the attack by 10% for each stacks up to 3 stacks. Now, this Cold Conviction buff will be removed when you use any other skill that is not the Cold Precision Shot, meaning to say that you would like to use Makiatto by chaining her Cold Precision Shot continuously, and for each use of the skill it costs 2 Confectance points, meaning to say at a maximum of 6, you can use this skill 3 times consecutively to gain the maximum of 3 stacks, which further increases her attack by 30%, which is a lot. Now her second skill, Professional Tactics, selects one enemy target within the 9 tiles and deal physical damage equal to 100% of attack to them. Now this skill gives Makiatto 4 points of Confectance Index, which is a good synergy to her first skill because it allows Makiatto to refresh her Confectance Index to continue chaining the first skill. Now this third skill also gives 2 stacks of Standard Approach, and it gives Makiatto the sustainability that she needs as a DPS character because it reduces AoE damage by 25%, and at a max of 3 stack, it allows her to reduce AoE damage by 75%, greatly increasing her sustain on the battlefield. Also, if there are no allied units within 3 tiles after using Professional Tactics, Makiatto will gain 1 stack of Lone Wolf. It allows Makiatto to apply a number of frozen stack that is equal to the number of attack that she uses last turn. So it chains very well with her ultimate, which allows her to gain a special form of counter. And her ultimate, Absolute Mental Defense, gives her Frost Barrier and also Alert for 2 turns. Now this is what makes her unique and sets her apart from all other DPS because Alert is a buff that allows Makiatto to counter using this Inception buff whenever an enemy within 9 tiles attempt to attack her when she has the Frost Barrier up. Now Inception deals freeze damage equal to 90% and 2 stability points of damage and also apply Frozen for 1 turn, and we'll see later why this Frozen debuff will be so great for Makiatto. So Interception, her counter, can also activate 2 times per turn. This Inception counter greatly increases the damage output, and what's even more unique about the Interception counter is that it allows Makiatto to attack the enemy first before the enemy attacks them. Makiatto will trigger her Interception counter, and this can also be followed up by support action from units like Makiatto. So therefore, Makiatto acts like a protector and eliminates all incoming threats. Now moving on to her passive, the Battlefield Insight. This increases her crit rate by 40%, which is very great, which is tremendous considering that she is a character that relies on crit damage as her damage kit. However, it slightly reduces the critical damage by 10%, which is more than a worthy trade-off. Now at the start of the turn, if the unit HP exceeds 80%, which is not hard to maintain considering the Frost Shield that she gains by using her ultimate, her passive gives her Insight, which increases the range of her ultimate by 1 tile, and also Steady Progress, which increases her movement speed by 1 tile, and it also makes Makiatto immune to displacement from enemy. Now Makiatto will ignore 4 points of stability and also increase the damage dealt to enemies with the Frozen debuff by 20%, which is insane. And also when attacking a target with Frigid, it ignores 6 points of stability index and further increase this damage dealt to them by 30%. So this further increases the damage output of Makiatto when she's paired with characters with teammates that can apply the frozen debuff on the enemy. So now that you understand her skill rotation to achieve maximum damage output would be to start off the battle with the absolute mental defense. This gives her the frost barrier and also the alert buff for 2 turns, allowing her to deal the interception counter and increases her damage output. After that, we want to chain 3 users of the cold precision shot to increase her cold conviction stacks by 3 and greatly increasing her damage output. After using 3 instances of her second skill, we would rotate back to using the absolute mental defense. The next round of rotation will then be followed up with her third skill, which gives her 4 points of confectance index, and this allows her to use 2 more instances of the cold precision shot before she runs out of confectance index again, and then we go back to the skill rotation starting from her ultimate. Now, looking at her fixed key, the optimal fixed key that is important for her would be the additional intelligence, which allows her cold precision shot to refuse 1 point of confectance index when she makes a kill. The second one would be the ice with milk foam, achieved at level 20, that gives her 3 points of confectance index at the start of the battle. The next important fixed key would be the absolute concentration. This increases her attack by 10% at the start of the battle and will last until her HP drop below 100% for the first time. And once again, it is not easy to go below this threshold because of her frost shield that she gains from her ultimate. Synergy with the team wise, Makiatto functions best in the ice team, supported by Suomi, which her 4th skill will be able to refresh her frost barrier and also creates frozen tiles on the battlefield, and this gives the enemy the frozen debuff which is needed to increase the damage output of Makiatto. Now in an ice team, you also like to pair Makiatto with Lota, which is another DPS character that revolves around the frozen debuff and dealing ice damage. Importantly, Makiatto goes well with Cheongju because Cheongju's 4th skill gives her 4 stacks of support boost, and this allows Cheongju's support action to couple with the interception counter of Makiatto, and it allows Cheongju to wipe out her 4 stacks of support action very easily every turn, and this greatly increases the DPS of the whole team. Now if you do not like the ice team, it does not mean that she could not fit elsewhere, because Makiatto is a great flex pick that can be slotted into most teams regardless of the mode, thanks to her great damage output, and also Makiatto is not reliant on any other characters to perform well. Now let us take a look at the fortification buffs that we receive from getting Makiatto's dupe. Now even as a free-to-play player, it is highly recommended to go for her segment 1, which is obtained after getting 1 dupe, because this buffs her cold precision shot, which is the second skill. It allows the second skill now to perform 2 attacks, although critical damage will no longer increase and the damage dealt is decreased to 100% of the attack. This trade-off is worth it because if the first attack crits, the second attack will have a 100% crit rate, and also the critical damage is increased by an insane 80%. Now remember that Makiatto's passive gives her a base 40% crit rate, so therefore it is not difficult for us to crit the first attack. Now this is from a free-to-play player's perspective. If you are a whale or if you are super dedicated to Makiatto as a character, the next power spike would be at segment 2, which buffs her absolute mental ultimate. It increases the number of Makiatto can do per turn from 2 to 3, which is crazy because this by itself is a decent damage upgrade on its own, and it also allows Makiatto to trigger all of Cheongju's support action by herself, and it also increases your potential to eliminate enemy threats before they can hit you, protecting your team further. Now at V6, it increases the ambush per turn to 4, and it allows her to just consecutively chain her second skill, as she will get the confector's index refunded twice after using her ultimate, and this turns her into a DPS monster. However, to get V6, it is mostly for whales and will not be achievable from a free-to-play perspective like us. Fortunately, the signature weapon of Makiatto is not a must-have for Makiatto to function well, and The Battle Pass weapon or the standard weapon, for example the WA-2000, which is an SR option, works well enough for us free-to-play players to consider Makiatto as a unit to pull. Now for the attachment and stats, the most optimal one would be to go for the Ice Boost set, as it increases the ice damage dealt by 20%. However, right now it is still recommended to farm for Phase Strike because Phase Strike is a more generic set and it also provides a 15% attack damage for enemies with the Phase Element debuff. Now for stats priority on her attachment, you would like to aim for crit damage on the muzzle, followed by attack percent, attack, and finally crit rate. Now, having understood Makiatto as a character, would you be pulling for Makiatto? Let me know in the comments below. Personally, for me, I would pull for her because she, by herself, is a very great stand-alone DPS character, and it also fits very well into the Ice team, which will be getting another Ice support, which is Dushnaya, in future updates, and this will further increase Makiatto's potential in the Ice team. Now, if you have enjoyed today's guide, do support the channel by leaving a like and subscribe to the channel. Your support means a great deal to me, as these guides take a great deal of effort and time commitment from me. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video. Goodbye.